functional again.
Did it get on your face?
It didn't get on my face, but it was on. It was everywhere else. All my extremities, my trunk, everywhere. So.
Is it in oil?
You know, I don't know. But I got out of the Sierras and I basically hiked into this trailhead, caught a ride down to a town called Independence in near Lone Pine in the Owens Valley, and all the grocery stores were closed for the next 2 days, so I hitched up to the next town, Bishop, and I was sitting outside the grocery store just saying, okay, I got to find a place where I could take a shower 3 or 4 times a day, and I got to spend maybe a week here to deal with this, and I didn't have, I didn't want to spend money, so I was like, what am I going to do? So I'm sitting outside the grocery store, and this guy, I have my pack, and this guy comes out of the grocery store, and he starts talking to me. He goes into the mountains a lot. He's into outdoor sports, and so I tell him what I'm doing, and he's just like, hey man, you can come back to my place, and you just stay for as long as you need to get better, and then we'll get you back to the trailhead. And so it was amazing, the trust that people gave me. I mean, I went back to his place, and he goes into the back room, and he comes out with a set of keys, and he says, okay, well, here's the house keys. I'm going fishing for a couple days. I'll see you when I get back. He doesn't know me from Adam. And he sees my painted toenails, and he's probably wondering, what the hell's up with this guy? So I just felt so blessed,
So it eventually just kind of passed after.
Yeah, after I spent 4 days there, and by the 4th day, it was the itching had almost gone, all the swelling had gone, and there was still some discoloration, but I felt like I was good enough to go, and I caught a ride back to the trailhead from someone I met in a laundromat.
Benadryl, Calamine lotion, did you use anything on it?
I was using Benadryl, but I did that for a day, but then it wasn't weeping, so it was like, what's the point, And Benadryl just kind of dries up the stuff that's weeping, and that wasn't happening, so I just quit using that. I just took a bunch of showers, and it slowly but surely went away. Here we are at Kennedy Meadows. This fellow in the back there is from Israel, and he's like an Israel commando. He's walking with a 70-pound pack. Unbelievable. And he was keeping up with us.
He looks not very big either.
No, he wasn't big. It was just unreal, because like my pack was maybe 30 pounds at its heaviest.
Yeah.
Well, actually, when I walked out of this area, I was carrying 11 days worth of food, so my pack was probably somewhere between 40 and 50 pounds at that point. That was the heaviest it ever got.
Even with all the water.
Even with, but I wasn't carrying water through here because I'm in the Sierras now, so I was getting water out of streams here. So this is the first big meadow in the Sierra. Oh wow, I gotta switch the thing here. Thing that I have it hidden away in a select spot that I go to every once in a while and just open it up to get that. Oh yes, now I really remember. Sometimes I break out my slides and just sit there with those pair of socks. Just kidding. This is Mount Langley. It's like the southernmost 14er in the Sierra, which I had intentions of climbing, but I was camped right at the base of it when the rash kind of came to a head, so that kind of didn't happen. This is like the first big stream that I'd seen in probably 300 miles, so I was really excited to be there.
It's pretty shallow.
Yeah, but heck, that's a lot of water compared to what I've been through.
I mean, there's a lot of grass around. It looked like there's
So the mosquitoes started to become an issue in the Sierras, and you can see the mosquito netting on my tarp that kind of kept me safe from that situation, at least when I was in there. And I'm getting up above I was walking through that meadow initially, but I've gained about 3,000 feet from there, getting into the high peaks here, up to above 10,000 feet here. There's a nice view of the southern Sierra.
Did anybody else use the poles like you did? Multifunctional that way?
I didn't see anyone using them for their tent or tarp, but that just kind of worked out well for me, so I definitely recommend doing that.
Now, what's the red?
That's Owens Lake bed that's been drained dry by LA. So this is a former lake that is now no longer, and this was there's a lot of military stuff happening around this area. I heard a lot of sonic booms as I was walking through here. I'm getting closer to Mount Langley. Just a big old flat top, class 1 climb to the summit of that thing. I was kind of bummed I didn't get a chance to climb it. Big Whitney Meadows, that's called. Here I am at the southern border of Sequoia National Park. Really beautiful spot. My pack's pretty heavy at this point.
Looks
So I'm
big,
carrying
yeah.
a lot of food.
You get, is that a blowout section on the very back end of that hump? Or is that something like a slapped on there as extra?
Oh, that was something I slapped on, a little pouch I slapped on extra because I was carrying 11 days worth of food.
Yeah.
I was doing I was planning on doing a 180-mile stretch here through the Sierra without resupply, but the rash kind of negated that. So
That's great.
yeah, this is beautiful, this mountain scenery in the High Sierra. High Sierras are so amazing. Some wild onions I was harvesting. This is the day I decided. Well, actually the next day I decided to walk out. This day I was contemplating walking out. I camped right at the base of that mountain. Decided not to climb it, just walk on, and the next day I made the decision to get out. This is right near Crabtree Meadows, right below me there. The western launching point for people climbing Mount Whitney. Mount Whitney's right above my head there, basically, the sort of flat area to the left of those pinnacles. Nice meadows.
Golf course.
Yeah. The thing about the Sierras is above tree line, nothing grows. Muir called it, what do you call it? Desolation. Magnificent desolation. This is Bighorn Plateau, just one of the more inspiring places I've ever been. It's like this plateau that sits at 12,000 feet. Beautiful little tarn there, and like 360 you're surrounded by mountain walls that look just like that, and maybe the whole area that's encased between those mountain walls is maybe 100 square miles, and the Kern River cuts this little channel through the mountain walls out to the world, and you feel like you're just cut off in the middle of nowhere. I was pretty happy, but I was pretty itchy in that picture.
And were you running into anybody?
Oh yeah, I was walking with folks at this
Oh,
point,
okay.
but they're the ones taking the pictures. So
All your other friends were ahead of
yeah, well, basically, when I go out for the rash, the people that I was walking with continued on,
Right.
and then a lot of them I didn't hook up with because when they got to Yosemite, they went down to the valley for a couple days, and I walked past them thinking that I was going to be catching them, and meanwhile we ended up splitting up at that point, unfortunately. But this is just a beautiful meadow where I was just sitting watching the sunset. Some deer running across the tundra. And here we're heading up to Forester Pass, which is the high point of the trail. It's over 13,000 feet, and it's that little notch in the ridgeline there that the trail goes right through. You can see the trail zigzagging up on the right through the snow, and then it's literally blasted through the mountain walls.
But you're going up through that crack, you're saying?
Yeah, right through the crack, and then the snowfield right below the crack you cross. And I actually take a picture as I'm crossing that snowfield in a bit, and you'll see it. These next pictures are kind of overexposed because the rock's so shiny and there's so much snow. But you can see the trail's literally blasted in the side of the cliff here.
It's all granite.
Yeah, it's all granite. The Sierras are all granite.
What camera did you bring?
Olympus stylus with an 80 millimeter zoom.